Dr. Abed. And for those of you that do not know who Dr. Abed is, he is our director for the innovation programs. And one of the programs he will oversee will be the Virtual Learning Institute. We are looking to expanding and providing more opportunities for our students, for our scholars. We know that some students thrive in a different capacity, and we want to make sure that we have multiple opportunities for them to thrive and succeed. So with that being said, again, we're excited to have him join us. We, as you know, we have purchased 2 buildings. One building, we are looking to, bring it back to our stakeholders, see and hear from you. We're seeking to expand our STEAM program, giving our students at a younger age opportunities to look into STEM, to look into STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and music. Knowing that we have different students, different children that have different interests, and we want to ensure that we provide them with as many opportunities for them to thrive. So, we're excited about this. We are excited about a collegiate academy as well, where we provide our students an opportunity to not only receive a diploma, but also to receive an associate degree. So there's a lot of plans in place. We have the property. As I met with the Henry Ford president in discussion and sharing what are the potential opportunities for a collegiate academy, he said, find the space and then we'll talk. So we found the space. So we're at a good place right now. So with that being said, we are also excited about the opportunities for Dickinson West with the ESSER funds. And these are federal grants that we received as a district that will provide us opportunities to improve in the infrastructure. Some of the plans include the HVAC, window upgrades. In addition to that, looking to eliminate the portables and construct a building for our Dickinson West students and have 22 classrooms with about 33,000 square feet. So we are looking at this as also another added value for our students and community at Hamtramck. So we've got exciting things. I do want you to know, based on the input that was shared from parents, in June, we had a survey out to engage their interest in participating. And let me see, we've got some people, okay. I wanted to make sure we add everyone that's joined. So
Mark, take care of that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So with that being said, based on that survey, we had over 30%, about 33% of our families were seeking a virtual learning opportunity for their children. We had about 17 that were undecided, and then the remainder wanted in person. So what do we do with this information? The team immediately started to look to see what programs are out there. The team visited Oxford Academy, and we just looked at multiple programs to see what is the best that we can use to implement for our learners. We ended up discovering that Pearson was the best fit for our students. It offers a lot of flexibility, a lot of interest for our students, and we are looking to add this for our students. Now, we are over capacity when it comes to the Virtual Learning Institute. We are at 580 students. Now, with that being said, I am going to be clear that there is no substitute for in-person learning. And I'm going to ask parents to reflect on the choice. I understand with the Delta variant, many parents, including myself, have concerns. We do not have a vaccine that's been approved for under 12, and I do understand your concerns. They are legitimate. And this is why we wanted to make sure we provide an opportunity for flexible learning for our different learners. Now, where are we with this? Currently, we have 580 students that have met the deadline and will be a part of this. But seeing that there is still a need and still an interest, we now are going to review and have students on a waiting list, and we may provide a remote learning opportunity for them as well. But again, I cannot emphasize enough, when students sign up for the Virtual Learning Institute, it is a commitment of 1 semester. It cannot be something, as some students, would send me messages. Okay, I'll try it out, but if I don't like it, I'd like to go back. It doesn't necessarily work like that. It has to be a commitment of at least 1 semester. So this is one important fact. The other is, if your child was not thriving in the past, 16 months, they were not thriving, then that it is a concern. So this might not be the best place for them. We would offer you an opportunity to come and visit our schools, look at the mitigation strategies we have in place. I have been very vocal in terms of making sure that we follow the recommendations. I understand that the recommendations are very loose, and from CDC, from MDHHS, but we want to make sure that our students and our staff are protected. And this is one of the highest impact, has the highest impact in terms of the mitigation strategies. It is the universal face covering, which is why we took a lead on this in Wayne County, and we want to continue to be leaders when it comes to safety. We can't get the academics if we don't have the safety in place. So we are excited about this program. We are looking to have HPS teachers join us and lead in this Virtual Learning Institute. As of today, we only have 1 elementary teacher and 1 secondary teacher. So we will still have highly qualified teachers. They are going to be certified under the Michigan credentials, Michigan Department of Education. We are not going to filter curriculum for our students. We're giving them the best of the best when it comes to the programming, when it comes to who is in front of them. So today is an opportunity to kind of orient the families. And I see there's some students here. Thank you all for being here on this program. Offer you an opportunity to ask questions, hopefully towards the end, because some of the questions, if you ask now, Dr. Abid will hit them on in the PowerPoint. So with that being said, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for all you do. I hope that you had a wonderful summer. We are so excited and thrilled to see our students back September 7th. So Dr. Abid, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ahmed, for this kind of nice summary and what was behind that. So also we'll keep the question, raising hand to the end. We will give you time. We have a lot of time. We'll go through the PowerPoint very quickly to give you a kind of an orientation. What does the program looks like? What is the expectation? What you can see as a parent, what you can see as a student. And maybe if we have a time, we'll allow you to see a demo inside, to go inside it, because we have our representation from our peers who are with us. So as Ms. Ahmed said, I am the contact person. My name is Dr. Abid, and this is my phone, 313-305-7571. And also there is my email. If you have any question after that, and if I found any question also in the chat, I will make sure I will reply to you, I promise, by tomorrow, for sure. Yeah. So the agenda, we will talk briefly about what is our virtual learning institute looks like in Hamtramck Public School, and then we go to the instruction, and we go to the basically to the delivery, how we deliver that kind of outstanding curriculum, and then we talk about technology, how we use technology, what required technology, and we will leave again for you for the questions and answers. So
I don't want to sit through this. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm a parent, and I was undecided if I wanted my child to do virtual, but I'm crossing more over for in-person. So I really don't want to sit through this. Is there any way I could just go to the community center to sign him up for in-person?
Yeah, I will answer you very quick. If this is only for parents who chose to be in You are right for virtual. If you are in person, then you have to reach to the school administrators and tell them if you did not sign for the virtual, you are already in person. You don't need to be in this meeting. So that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. This is only for
Okay.
orientation for those parents who chose to be virtual. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mrs. Al-Fatlawi. If you don't mind me interrupting for a second, Dr. Abid, I'm having issues with my camera. But anyone that has stated undecided, we automatically place them in face-to-face instruction. So you don't have to do it on your part.
Okay.
Okay,
you.
I'm one of those parents, so I'm leaning more to the in-person. So I'm just gonna log off and thank you for your
Thank you
time.
so much. Be
Thank
safe.
you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So there are a couple of questions I received within the last 2-3 weeks from students, from parents, and I will go through the first one. Will a student be considered a student of Hamtramck Public School? Yes. And that's some of students and parents even confused. Yes, you will be enrolled one of our school, Hamtramck High, Kosheshko, all our school. You are enrolled. You will have a report card. You have a transcript also and a diploma by Hamtramck Public School. It's not by Pearson, by the way. What is the commitment level? As Ms. Ahmed said, we need minimum or at least 1 semester to a year. And then again, will student be able to reach out to in-school support? Yeah, we will talk about that a lot. And I can tell you, you will not imagine how much support you have. You will have a lot of support. And I feel in the next slide, you will see what kind of support you will see for your student. Will a student be eligible for extracurricular activities? Yes, if there is anything in person in any of our building and you are invited, just to inform them and following all these kind of COVID mitigation, and then you can be part of any sport, of any clubs. In fact, with our curriculum, you can have clubs and activities in Pearson itself with your teacher. Do we provide device? Yes, if you are enrolled, the school district will provide you a Chromebook. If you prefer to buy yours, that's your choice. Other program or like any question that you have, please write them in like I said, the chat, and also we will be able to go through them at the end. Again, we will go about, will there be any instruction provided? Yes, will be a lot of time, which most of the time will be face-to-face with a certified teacher by Michigan. And there's also you can be a self-paced. If you want to go ahead, that's fine. There is no so there will be some of what we call for advanced kids, they can go ahead if they would like. Sometimes their teacher will give them a lot of work to do by themselves. Yeah, there will be live, and also attendance will be taken hour by hour. Your teacher will be, as we said, they will be face-to-face a lot of time. And there is a lot of extra activities that you can do after hours. How do I know the courses are rigorous and that they will change my student? We have in the program at AB classes, we have honorary classes, we have core classes, we have accommodated individual classes, we have elective classes. Yes, they are also aligned with Michigan and the national standard for any curriculum that you have, but mainly for Michigan. So we know it's a rigorous curriculum. How will you ensure students are meeting graduation? As I said, you are the student of Hamtramck Public Schools. And I will talk now in the next couple of slides next about you as a parents, what you can see, what you can see as a parents, what you can see as students, so you can track those kind of graduation. And at the end also, every semester, your courses that you already finished will be basically imported to MyStar. Our MyStar is our student data information and also attendance. And the courses or the grade you will get, it will move directly to your report card, and it also will move to your transcript. How do you ensure a student complete on time? If you will have a grade book day by day, hour by hour, you track all the homework, all the assignment, the schedule, the plan, test, quizzes, report, mistake they make, grade they took, you will have access as a parent and student to track all progress, even mastery report. Did your student master this benchmark? Did not master this benchmark? You will have it in your grade book. How will you ensure that students feel connected and provided resources? This is why we chose Pearson, because we know for sure it's a different than any electrical platform where your student will be engaged cognitively, thinking, problem solving, critical thinking, engaging with other kids, engagement with their students. A lot of resources also available for them if they feel like they need to reach to a tutor after hours. They will have somebody to support them. So yes, we are sure that program will make the kids are connected. Okay, for the why my screen is not moving, Mark? Yes. Tools for a student. If you are a student and you are listening to me, these are things you will be able to do through the program. You will be able to view daily and monthly schedule with goals and objectives, and your schedule always will come to you like in a calendar or a weekly calendar or a monthly calendar. Access lesson plan. All your teacher lessons are there with their objective, with their assignment, with their homework, with the quizzes, and ask for tutoring service if you need. If you feel like you struggle in that question or that problem in science, you will be able to ask for tutoring services. Monitor the progress through the online grade. Your grade book, I used it 3 years ago. It's one of the best you can imagine. Even university use that. So you will have your grade book, your answers, your mistake, your errors. You can see it, and your parents can see it from the grade book. Communicate with the teacher anytime you want, and also student through the webmail and message board. So that's a very unique things about a lot of programs. They don't allow you to communicate with teachers certain hours, or you can communicate anytime with them. Access many online learning, and this is a very key. There is a lot of library and resources. If you search, you will find your help are there. Participate in a club and activities, and that's another thing I told you. You can, as a class or a grade level, create your club, drama club, National Honor Society clubs, anything, art clubs, all these you can think about, scout and all these kind of sport, and you bought a chess club or all these things available in person. You will be able to build those. Now, I think again, when you do the scribe, I am not able to, okay. Tools for parents. Our parents can, and if you are a parent, you will be able to see yours daily. A lot of our parents in the past, they keep calling the admin in the office. Oh, when is my algebra 2? When is my English class? Especially with kids who are at risk, especially kids with special need. Those are things, ESL, they struggle to follow the schedule. So as a parent and a student, you will easily find, the minute you log in, you will find your daily schedule hour by hour. And also you will find about your assignment and your kids' assignment, their lessons. And then you can adjust also the schedule if that needed based on each student. Monitor the student progress, how he is doing in his grade book. You will be able to see a day, the minute the teacher grade the assignment or put the assignment, you will see the score, and also you will be able to see why they made that mistake. What is the correct answer? What is the wrong answer? And then you can ask for help from the tutor to review for that exam or from the teacher the next day. Communication with teacher and families is very essential through the webmail, like the email. You can email the teacher anytime, and also you can message them through the board. So this is a very key slide. I would like to emphasize that to the parents. So our Hamtramck Public School Virtual Learning Institute is an option given to you. And again, this is an option. So, but we still have to follow the state requirement in regard to residency, where you live, because it's about what we call the FTE, it's about budgeting, it's about the planning. And so parents who chose to be in the Virtual Learning Institute need to be reminded that if there is any changes in their address, they have to tell the school district. So students who are enrolled in our Virtual Learning Institute need to be physically live or reside in the state of Michigan. This is number one. You cannot be in Illinois or New York and I would like to be in this program. You cannot. County, Wayne County, again, and also mainly reside in the city of Hamtramck. This is not like other schools where hey, you can be homeschooling here or the overseas. No, we will find out. The minute we find out, we will call you. We will tell you that your son is not logging in from Michigan, not logging in from Hamtramck. And that's well, I would need to remind you with the last statement, a student who move outside of the city or the county or the state and the country are not eligible to participate as a student in this Hamtramck School District virtual learning. It is the responsibility of you, and I will say the accountability of you as a parents to alert Hamtramck Public School District about residency changes for any reason. And if you have any question about that, you can write them in the chat or you can ask at the end. Now I will give the floor to Lauren. Lauren from basically our person, she's in charge of basically the curriculum. She will go in depth a little bit about what you will see or you find in our curriculum as a parent or as a student.
Dr. Abed,
Yes.
before Lauren begins, I would like to introduce Mrs. Brewer. Mrs. Brewer will be and is the executive director for student achievement. So she's been answering some of you in the chat. So I wanted to make sure that I formally introduce her.
I did love to. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you
so much. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate that.
And now Lauren, who is from the Pearson, will join us, and she will be the representative for our district and will be the person that will also communicate with the families as well. She's the parent liaison. So Lauren, if you are here, please chime in.
I am here. Thank you. Dr. Abed, would you mind providing me with co-host access so I can share my screen?
Mark, can you do that? Mark? Lauren, yeah.
Apologies, I am in here. Maybe if I talk, it helps pop me up to the top of the screen for you. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate you taking some time out of your early evening to learn more about what your students can expect in this virtual institute and get a little insight into the program and how we will help your students be successful in this virtual learning environment. Sorry, I'm just waiting for one moment for some screen access, but I will review the few points on this slide while we wait for some access behind the scenes on Zoom to be given. But what you all can expect for this upcoming year is that your students will be able to participate in their educational experience in an easy to use online learning system. So your student will be able to log in every day and complete their coursework, as well as those live lessons via one single login to a platform. So I saw we did have a question in the chat about Google Classrooms. You will not be utilizing Google Classrooms anymore. We will show you when I am able to demo the platform for you, how your student can access their live lessons within the platform, how they can navigate the coursework and some other tools that are embedded into the platform. There's also hundreds of courses that are available to your student, and these are developed to prepare your student for life, work, and higher education. And it's really meant to keep them on pace and performance, similarly to what they would experience in the brick and mortar environment, if not even more rigorous than what they would experience in a seated environment. And they'll get all of this with the individualized attention that they may need from their teachers.
Oh, okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
And then lastly, as parents or caretakers, you will have access to a resource called Family 411, and that's a support that's embedded into your parent or observer login that will allow you to get some supports. And I see that I'm able to share my screen now. So give me just one moment to share my screen so I can show you all what you can expect for your students for this upcoming fall. And so here, when you first log in to your student's dashboard for the day, so when your student logs in to complete their coursework for the day, this is what their dashboard will look like. Kiersey Anderson is a hypothetical student with Hamtramck Virtual Learning Institute. And she can go up here and click this drop-down menu, and she can change her settings or change her theme. It allows her to change the colors of her dashboard. It allows her to rearrange the tiles. We refer to it as a digital locker room. So it makes your students' landing page more appealing to them and engages them upon logging in for the day to complete their coursework. Your student will also have access to announcements via this exclamation icon here. And these could be announcements from your student's teacher. Maybe the teacher is letting the student know of office hours they are hosting that week or reminding them of office hours. Or maybe it's a district specific announcements. Maybe the district sends an announcement that says, hey, don't forget Friday's a half day, enjoy your long holiday weekend. Kiersey can access those same announcements via this exclamation icon in the top right. So it's the same icon in 2 spots. She'll also have access to a to-do list, which is any upcoming coursework that needs to be completed. She'll also be able to, at a glance, look at her activity stream, which is any past content that she's completed in the platform itself. And then these are Kiersey's course tiles. And Kiersey looks like she's an overachiever, and she's enrolled in every single class that Hamtramck Virtual Learning Institute offers. But when your student logs in to complete their coursework for the day, they will only see the courses they are enrolled in for that semester. And so within these course tiles, your student at a glance is able to see their current grade in that course. They're also able to monitor their progress of that course so far. By hitting the play button, they can jump in and complete or work on the last activity they were working on for that course. And by hitting this graph or column icon, it will take them into their grade book for that course. And while I'm here on this course tile, when your students log in on the first day of school, they will have access to this student orientation course. And this is a great module that your students can complete on the first day that will walk them through a lot of what I'm reviewing for you all today and will help them be better users of the platform on day 1. So make sure your student day 1 has this student orientation course on their dashboard. They should. And if they do, make sure it's one of the first things that they complete on day 1. So up here in the top left is the main navigation menu via these 3 hash signs. And the platform is very intuitive, so it will offer information to your student in a variety of ways. And so we can see here that Kiersey can access her announcements again on the main navigation menu, and she can also access her overall gradebook for all of her courses. She will also have access to any notes that she's taken within the course via this notes icon, and I'll show you how Kiersey can take a note within her course in just a moment. This is that internal webmail feature that Dr. Abed mentioned. This is where Kiersey can send communication directly to her teacher, and it's where she can receive communication from her teacher and the district as well. It's worth noting that if you do have a school email address, these are 2 separate communication features. So your school email address, you will log in one browser, and then webmail can only be accessed by logging into the Pearson platform. So you or your student would have to log into Pearson, go to the main navigation menu and select webmail in order to access your student's webmail. The calendar here in the main navigation menu is a high-level overview of when your student's coursework is due by the day, the week, and the month. And then Dr. Abed mentioned those live lessons that your student will have with their teacher. These live lessons are offered at the following schedule, and your student will receive a schedule from their teacher within the first week. So the first week, your student's teacher will reach out to them, introduce themselves, provide contact information, and they'll also begin providing that live lesson schedule. But in terms of live lessons, your student can expect 1 live lesson per core course per week. So that's 4 core courses, so 4 live lessons per week for their core courses, and then it's 1 to 2 live lessons per month for those elective courses. And then for our K through 2 students, you will have daily literacy lessons with your teacher, and those will be facilitated in live lesson. Our K through 5 students will have the opportunity to participate in a Monday morning homeroom huddle with their teacher, and those would be facilitated via live lesson. And you'll also have the opportunity on Fridays for our K through 5 learners to drop in and say hi to your teacher on Fridays, and they'll provide that calendar as well. Dr. Abed also mentioned the live tutor that you'll have access to. You would access live tutor in the live lesson as well. And this live tutor is available for your core courses. And you can access a live tutor on demand Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The math live tutor is available until 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because we know some students struggle with math. And then on Fridays, you can access a live tutor from 9 a.m. Eastern Time to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also have a new feature with live tutor. Your student can actually schedule a live tutor now. So maybe again, you know your student struggles with math and you decide every Tuesday at 2 p.m. I'm going to have my student sit down with a live tutor. You can schedule that now, and that will again be accessed via this live lesson in the main navigation menu. Additionally, if your teacher hosts office hours, you'll access those via live lesson. And if you as a parent wish to facilitate a virtual parent-teacher conference, you would tune into those virtual parent-teacher conferences via live lesson as well. The student activity tracker is where attendance is taken and your student can mark themselves as present for the day. But remember, Dr. Abed also mentioned that the teachers will be taking attendance in those live lessons as well. Check My Work is the internal plagiarism tool. And let's say Kiersey needed to submit a paper and it needed to be checked for plagiarism. This is where she would do so. And then she can access all of her courses via that main navigation menu as well. And so I'm going to jump down into this course tile here to show you some features that are available within a course for all of our students. And this is a second grade language arts class, but again, the functionality is the same amongst all grade levels and all courses. And so when your student is on this course landing page, their coursework will be laid out in the order that it needs to be completed. All of our courses have a course guide, which is essentially the course syllabus, and we'll go over the scope and sequence. And they'll also have a course overview, which is a high-level overview of what the course entails. All courses have a course backpack, and within that backpack is a list of course materials. These are materials that are provided to your student. So a lot of this will be textbooks or digital learning. Some of our K through 2 students will receive physical materials from Pearson, and they can expect those within the coming weeks. It does take some time for Pearson to ship them out to students. So give us a few weeks for those to get to your students. And then the course materials will also have a list of items that you as a household would need to provide. But these are traditional items like pens, paper, pencils, etc. Things you would provide in the brick and mortar environment. However, if there's ever anything on the materials list that you would need to provide as a family, you can reach out to your teacher for an alternative that might fit your family's needs or what you have available on hand at home. All backpacks have a list of glossary terms, which is words you may see frequently throughout the curriculum, and those are defined for the student. And then they have access to web links. Web links is where we partner with some leading vendors in the education space that will provide additional enrichment and activities throughout the coursework, and they're embedded into the lesson itself to provide your student additional enrichment and engagement. And I'll show you an example of what that looks like in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this activity here. And all of our lessons have this text-to-speech feature, which can be found via the ear icon in the top right. And it will pop out this tool. Your student can press play and have the entire screen read out loud. They can pause and stop. They can highlight just one sentence and have just that sentence read out loud, or have one word read out loud. They could highlight a word and have it defined by hitting the book icon. For some of our lessons that have a little bit more text on the page, they can screen mask. So it will highlight line by line the curriculum and mask out the rest of the page. They can also magnify or annotate. They can additionally go into this settings tab and have the page translated from English to over 100 languages. And we use Google Translate for this overlay. They could also just highlight one word and have that one word translated from English to over 100 languages. And so here in this video is the Learning Buddy Lion, and all of our elementary school students have a Learning Buddy. We do not have Learning Buddies at the middle school and high school level, but we do still have videos and other activities embedded into courses to keep your student engaged and excited about what they're learning. And so all of our content on the platform is WCAG 2.0 compliant. And what that means is there's intent behind the design. So there's intent behind the colors used, the closed captioning, the text size and text font. Again, all videos have closed captioning. And so, not to play a second grade language arts video for all, but in this video, the lion is asking the student to identify which middle sound doesn't sound the same, and it will give the student 3 words. So Kiersey will watch this video with the lion, and then she'll come down here and complete this short independent practice. And again, this is where we partner with some of those vendors in the education space that provide additional activities. So here, if I click these, it would say bat, hat, and sit. She's still identifying that middle sound.
Good job.
She would continue on throughout this activity. It would prompt her to come back into the lesson and mark this as complete, and she can continue on throughout the lesson if she'd like. If Kiersey wanted to take a note, she comes up here in the top right to this note icon, this sticky note, and we can see here Kiersey made a note that says middle sound isn't always the same, so she can access her notes as she progresses through the lesson, and she can also add a new note by hitting this red plus sign in the bottom right. There's one other feature I'd like to show you in the student view before we hop to the observer view. And when I'm back on the main course landing page, there's this heart icon in the top right, and I'm going to click that. That's called the student self-assessment. And this is another communication tool that's built into the platform. So Kiersey is able to tell her teacher, you know, I'm not really understanding the second grade class, but I'm really interested in it, and I feel like I'm putting a lot of effort. She's going to send that off. And Kiersey's teacher is going to get a notification that she completed that student self-assessment on her dashboard. And so that will allow Kiersey's teacher to respond to her. Maybe she facilitates office hours to discuss with Kiersey what she's struggling with, or maybe she provides additional activities. Either way, she's able to communicate with Kiersey and continue to help set her up for success in this virtual learning environment. And so now I'm going to jump to the parent or observer view really quickly. And Kiersey's observer in this virtual learning environment is Eva Smith. And Eva Smith has 3 students enrolled in the Hamtramck Virtual Learning Institute. So if you have multiple students in the virtual learning environment, this is what your landing page will look like. It will give you the option of which student's dashboard do you want to jump into. And so to keep things the same, we're going to go to Kiersey. And once Kiersey's dashboard loads for Eva, we can see they're identical, and there's intent behind that. If you're going to be your student's learning coach and help guide, support, and motivate them and communicate with their teachers and make sure that they're excelling, you need to know how to access the platform just as well as your student would. And so with that, the dashboards are identical. You can see your student's current grade, you can monitor their progress, you can see what activity they're working on, you can go into their grade book, look at their to-do list, their activity stream, all of it, you have access to it. The main difference is you can't complete any coursework or change any grades, and you have access to Family 411. So if we go to that main navigation menu again, we can see now in the parent view, you have access to Family 411. So we'll click that. And Family 411 is available 24/7, 365 days of the year, and it has various supports embedded into the platform. So if I go here to this orientations and tutorials, this Caretaker user guide is a great resource and is sort of like an orientation course for parents or caretakers, and will help better acclimate you to the platform. One of my favorite features of this under the Getting Started tab is this creating a daily schedule. And it will walk you through how to set up a schedule that's most successful and flexible for your student and your family. So maybe you write down or pre-program their live lessons for the week, or any extracurricular activities or other personal events they have. Maybe you know your student doesn't do so well in the early morning and they like to start their day a little bit later. You can accommodate that. Maybe they have a doctor's appointment and you need to shift their day back. Like I said, maybe you have multiple students and you need to create a master schedule. This is just one of the resources available in Family 411, but it allows you to create that schedule that works for your family's individualized needs, but keep your student on pace and up with performance as well. And then if there was something that you couldn't find in Family 411 that you needed, you also have this question mark icon in the top right, which is the help icon. And it's another support that is built into the platform that allows you to access resources in the event you couldn't find what you were looking for in Family 411. And that was a very quick, high-level overview of the platform. I'm sure we have lots of questions rolling in. So Dr. Abed, I will hand things back over to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I think we have a lot of questions in the chat, and I think a lot of them being answered. So we will allow you to ask your question.
I see that
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I saw that there was a great question from the Ahmed family, and I think it might apply to everybody on the call. So the Ahmed family asked, will virtual students be learning the same content as in-person students? And so I think it's worth noting that the content is not the same, but they mirror one another. So it is still, you know, state certified teachers, state certified curriculum. They aren't identical programs, but the overall standards and course design will mirror one another. So your student will, like I mentioned, I think at the beginning part of my presentation, they will be on pace with their in-person students, if not potentially ahead of those students in person.
As also, as Lauren said, we will use the same Michigan standard. So this the same in person, like that's our guide, the objective. And we will try to be very close to do the same lessons, like the pacing, the unit they are studying and things like that. So it just is the delivery is different than what is in the classroom. But the guiding curriculum, the guiding instruction, the requirement by the state of Michigan is the same. Yeah. If you have any question also, you can just raise the hand and I will choose to give you the floor to ask questions. Or
Dr.
you write it. Yes.
I can also read some of the questions for you. This one asks, do students need to be in class from 7 to 3?
So there is a great deal of flexibility with the virtual learning environment. Your student does have the opportunity to set their schedule as far as I am aware, and anyone from Hamtramck, please chime in. There is not a set start and end time. There is flexibility with your student being able to tune into those synchronous lessons when they are scheduled. So those live lessons that may already be pre-scheduled, but then that also gives your student the opportunity to work on the lesson itself or the activities that they have due asynchronously at their own pace. And so there's a certain number of hours that a student should mirror in the virtual environment. Similarly to brick and mortar, you can expect if your student were in person, they're probably learning for 4 to 5 hours a day, you know, sitting there in class, working on something or working with a teacher. And so you can expect your student in this virtual learning environment to be working on their coursework, both synchronously and asynchronously, for about 4 to 5 hours per day throughout the day.
I just would like to add something. We're still not clear about the state requirement. We always follow the state requirement in regard to the virtual learning. But like last year, they say you can do this kind of asynchronous, not synchronous, 1 day math, 2 days. This is not clear about instructional time, but we would like to make sure at attendance, we will know by September 7th if we are going to take hour by hour or we take it Monday, Wednesday. And if you are a virtual student, we will update you about that in our orientation for sure. Yeah, we'll give you more information about attendance. But
There was.
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was going to move on to another question, but if there is.
No, that's great. That's what I was going to do. So go ahead.
Okay. We have students asking about backpacks and computers. Everyone should have received a Chromebook from your school. So if you're from Hamtramck or Horizon, if you don't have one, just, you know, contact us, contact the technology department, and they'll provide you with a free Chromebook to use. Backpacks, I know we've passed out a lot of backpacks during our, we had like an event, it was a scheduled pickup event, and then we had the fun fair. But if you do need a backpack, just reach out to us and we'll see if we can provide you with one.
Thank you for that.
Anytime, thank you. I'm trying to look at other questions.
I see that Sarah asked, for Pearson, the student wouldn't be speaking to teachers, just working on the course. So no, your student does have the opportunity to speak with a teacher. They have those live lessons where they can communicate with their teacher and interact with their teacher. Teachers will also host office hours that the students can drop into if needed, to again speak with their teacher. Depending on the age of your student, our K-2 learners have that daily literacy with a teacher. Monday mornings for K-5 is a homeroom huddle, and Fridays for K-5 is drop in and say hi. So those are there's multiple opportunities where your student can speak with a teacher. And then if your student were to utilize Live Tutor, the Live Tutor may not be their core course teacher, but it still is a state certified teacher that they can connect with and speak with. So it's equal parts, you know, synchronous, getting to connect with someone virtually face-to-face, and then also working on their coursework at their own pace. And then we had another family ask, when do classes begin?
This is what I would like to say, because also related to the question when we are going to take our login information. The school normally starts September 7th, but before that you will be able to get your basically schedule and email also the login and all information that needed. But for sure it will be before September 7th. So what we are waiting for your school, this like a school that you are enrolled in, let's say Hamtramck High, because we would like also to give you the same schedule that you are having it with Hamtramck High, because you are their student. If you are taking 6 hours there, you take Algebra 2 or Algebra 1, we have to basically align your schedule with your schedule, based on the credit you already have or you need to graduate. So when we finalize that, hopefully by next week, you will be able to get a login and account, and you will see your classes are there. Yeah.
Thank you. And then I had a question, are live lessons optional? So live lessons are not optional. However, if your student is unable to attend a live lesson, they are recorded. So we do understand you may have a doctor's appointment or other outside events that may interfere with a student attending a live lesson, and we understand things pop up. But again, like Dr. Abed mentioned in the beginnings, teachers do take attendance in those live lessons. And so participation is required. However, your student, if they cannot make a live lesson, there isn't immediate repercussions for a lack of attendance if your student were to miss for, let's say, a doctor's appointment or other circumstances that would remove them from that live lesson for the week. So thank you for that question about the live lessons. That's a great clarity. If your student is unable to attend the live lesson, again, they are recorded, so they do have the opportunity to go back and watch the live lesson. But the administrative team at Hamtramck, as well as the teachers within the platform, will be able to see when students are not attending live lessons. And then Sarah asked, so on September 7th, students will join teachers on a Zoom call at 7:51. So on your first day of school, your students will log into the Pearson platform. Zoom is not being utilized at all. Your students will get a login information from the district. It will include the URL, the unique URL for them to log into the Pearson platform, as well as their login information. So they don't have to log in at 7:51. That's up to you time-wise, what time you'd like them to log in. But your students on September 7th should log in, make sure that they have no issues accessing the platform, complete their student orientation course, and then they should have communication from their teacher reaching out to them, maybe introducing themselves, providing contact information. If they don't have a communication from their teacher that first day on September 7th, they will hear from their teachers that first week. And then I see we had the Ahmed family ask to clarify, are the teachers Hamtramck teachers or teachers working with Pearson? These are Pearson teachers, but they are state certified teachers. But you do still have access to contact the administrative team at Hamtramck. So you are still part of Hamtramck. You are still a Hamtramck student. You still have access to resources available at Hamtramck, but the teachers on the platform are Pearson teachers.
Can just there was a great question about what other virtual option will be available for those who were not able to sign up for the Pearson platform. So we closed the registration, but reach to your principal. There will be an option, but we still collecting data about how many interested in it. But reach to your principal. Your principal will be soon, I think by tomorrow, have an idea about something like a waiting list, and because a lot of people are who also sign in for the virtual, they change their mind and I need to go. Like now you see 2 or 3, I saw 2 heading go person. So if we have a place, then we will call you. Just reach to your principal, they will put you in a waiting list to call you.
And
So
then, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna add. So I'm the assistant principal at Hamtramck High School. I'm not sure if I introduced myself or not, but you guys could definitely email me, but you are not guaranteed that you'll be attending the Pearson platform. You will be on a waiting list. If we have spots for you, we'll let you know. But right now, you will be attending face-to-face if you have not completed the virtual learning survey or your parents have not filled it out.
Thank you for that. I did see we had a family ask if their student works, how will that go with their schedule? So your student would be expected to program their work schedule more than likely around their school schedule. So for instance, it would be highly encouraged that your student attend those live lessons. And then they do have the flexibility to complete their coursework asynchronously at their own pace. So maybe your student attends that live lesson for the day and then they go to work. And then when they're home from work, they work on their coursework asynchronously, assuming that that student, you know, scheduled their work around when they are able to attend those live lessons or other live face-to-face opportunities with their teacher. But they do have the flexibility to work their school schedule and work schedule with one another.
And I would like to confirm, if you are working, you have to get this kind of work permit from your school, because this is the kind of things you need to approve it first by your school administrator and the counselor. And then if you're, see, before even COVID, if your hours work conflict with school schedule, then you cannot work before 3 or something. You can work after 3, but you cannot work, we cannot sign that. You have to have a permit to work.
Can I add something to Dr. Abed? So let's say, for example, your schedule is flexible and you decide to do homework in the afternoon. You have to attend class every day. You have to do some lessons to count for attendance, if I'm not wrong, Dr. Abed, correct? You can't wait till the end of the month to finish a class, because then you're not attending. That's attendance issue. So you have to log in every single day for a certain number of hours in order for you to be counted as present. Otherwise, if you have a certain number of absences, then you might not pass the class, even if you do the work, maybe the last week of school or something like that. So just make sure that you attend class every day and you're working on your classes every single day.
It's about state money. They would like to make sure you are in the class. So if you are absent, the minute you are absent, the 10 day, they drop you automatically. So that's why I'm saying, work with your school administrator. There will be flexibility, but I cannot promise you have to do the 6.5 hours or what we agree on. It's about like your graduation. And so this is a must. Attendance is a must. And they used to have this kind of 2 ways communication. It's required even last year. If you are not doing that, the minute you reach the 10 days, then you are not there.
Lauren, can you touch on the live instruction time again? I know there have been a lot of questions for that. So
yes, I just saw that. Thank you.
Okay.
So just to review the live lessons and that schedule, which you will get the schedule from your teachers of the days and times they're hosting the live lessons. But what your student can expect as far as the live lessons is your student will have 1 live synchronous lesson for their core courses per week. So 1 synchronous live lesson per core course per week. So your student has 4 core courses. So they will have 4 live lessons per week for those. And then when they're enrolled in an elective, the electives have a live lesson 1 to 2 times per month.
No, Lauren, can I interrupt you? Sorry for that. I don't want to go to that because we still need to wait for a state for that thing. So this is the state of Michigan still did not decide exactly how much synchronous, how much asynchronous. So we are working with the state, and hopefully George is here because they have a meeting even yesterday about it. Still, we cannot say that 1 a week or 2 a week. We will update them based on the state requirement.
Well, that's how Pearson teachers do the live lessons.
Okay.
So because you're using Pearson teachers, that's the way the schedule would work. So Michigan may do something differently for other virtual institutes or academies, but for this Pearson Virtual Learning Institute, it's 1 live lesson per core course per week, and then 1 to 2 live lessons per month for the electives.
Okay, we will talk about that. Okay, thanks a lot.
And
You're
just to
welcome.
add on to what Lauren is saying, that's just the traditional classroom model. As she shared before, there are other opportunities for your students to meet with teachers, whether it's in one of 3 times a week office hours where your student can drop in, they can make an appointment to meet with a teacher. The teacher potentially is reaching out to students proactively if they are struggling and gets a group of students together to work on a concept. You also have access to the live tutor, which you can access anytime during those hours that Lauren shared. If you need to go in 2 times because you thought you understood something and you went back to do the lesson and you sort of forgot and you want to go back and visit them, you can. So those are all options for you to meet with a teacher. But our teachers are providing that instruction as Lauren shared for core. It's every 1 time a week for each class. K-2 is having daily literacy. And then the electives are 1 to 2 times a month. Again, lots of opportunities to meet individually with teachers, but those are the structured lesson sessions. And office hours are not mandatory, they're optional, but feel free to drop in and meet with your teacher. I mean, it's a great opportunity for your student to get some extra support.
Thank you so much. Any question for our parents, if you still are there and did not write any questions?
I did see, we had a family ask, do the in-person students follow the same schedule as the Virtual Learning Institute? No, you do not. You have the flexibility here for your student to schedule their day that works best for them. So if your student thrives on that same bell schedule that they would get in person, they can absolutely follow that schedule if they'd like. But if your student likes a little bit more flexibility and maybe take a few breaks throughout the day and work, over a longer period of time, they have the flexibility to schedule their day.
I do want to probably clarify one thing. We do, it is going to be the same as the district calendar. So there is, for example, Christmas vacation. You are probably not required to attend the virtual class, or your virtual class is through Pearson because you have a vacation. For example, if we have the Eid break, so we are following the district calendar, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you are right. We give them the calendar, they are going to upload our calendars. I think they call those like black days or something like that. I think, Maureen, you're aware of that. So yeah, it's the same calendar, the same day. For the guy who asked about the courses, we will really try to take your, at least the 4 content or even your elective and give it to you through the virtual, because we would like you to be in the right sequence for your graduation, for example, next year or the year after. So we would like to, if you are taking Algebra 1, you will take Algebra A or the same. You take biology, you take biology. So you will have the 6 courses, at least the 4, it will be the same in 9th grade or 10th grade, or what you need for your graduation. But you will have the 6 during the semester, yeah.
And then I see, as far as the time spent per day, I think there's a little bit of confusion around this. I mentioned that you can expect your student to spend roughly 4 to 5 hours per day on their coursework. We're not saying it needs to be at least 6 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. We understand some students work at a faster pace, some work at a slower pace, some work at an average pace. Every student's day may look a little bit different depending on how quickly or how slowly they choose to work on their coursework. And so when we say that a student should anticipate spending 4, 5, 6 hours per day on their coursework, that's with it mirroring what they would traditionally experience in the brick and mortar or seated environment. And so in order for your student to remain on pace with their coursework, yes, 4 to 6 hours roughly is what they would spend on their schoolwork per day, but that also includes those face-to-face lessons. It's not just your students sitting for 4, 5, 6 hours in front of the computer, clicking away on a course. It's them going to live tutoring. It's them working on their activities in the lesson. It's them going to a live lesson with a teacher. So breaking that up amongst other things throughout the day.
Thank you so much,
then
Sharon.
for the live instruction, you will receive set times from your teacher. So you will, again, that first week, you will receive communication from your teacher. They will reach out to you. They will introduce themselves, and they'll also provide their live lesson schedule. Those are scheduled. It's not just a drop-in for those live lessons. And now is when you're ready to sit down and watch the live lesson. The teacher does provide scheduled times that you would tune into those live lessons. And yes, for the Davenport family, you all will be receiving schedules. Those come from the district. Yusuf, yes, that is correct. He asked if, he asked earlier how many students are in the virtual courses. And I said, all Hamtramck students will be enrolled in the courses together. So for instance, it's not that they'll all be in one 7th grade class, but for instance, if your students enrolled in Science 1 at the 7th grade level, all Hamtramck students will be in that Science 1 for 7th grade, if that makes sense. Sarah, correct. Yes, you for live lesson, your student would attend those live lessons when they're scheduled, and then you can choose throughout the day how you want to work on your coursework for the rest of the day. And you will have a different schedule for second semester, yes. So you have a fall semester and you will have a spring semester. So then they will be different schedules. So for instance, you might be in Science 1 in the fall, and then you'll be in Science 2 in the spring. Great questions.
If there is no more question, we would like to end this session or this kind of orientation. Anybody? Okay. Do I need to be?
I do see it's how many core courses are there for 7th graders. Every grade has 4 core courses. So whether you're kindergarten to 12th grade, you can expect 4 cores that you will be working on. No, you do not need to be in this meeting if you are going in person, but thank you for joining us. If you are not a virtual student, you do not need to be on this Zoom call.
Okay, have a good day.
Miss Humans is asking how many science classes are available for the high school students?
There's an array, so it depends on if they're doing an AP course. It depends if they're in a traditional science course. There's hundreds of courses available for the students in the platform. Not to say that there's hundreds of science courses available at a specific level, but it depends what level the student is at the high school level.
Also, it depends to our graduation requirement, our list, biology, chemistry, physics, all these kind of, we have to align that unless we, you know, we need to give those 3 requirements for high school. So,
Yep.
and really, yeah, the choice between chemistry and physics and biology and integrated science, so that's why I say the courses will be exactly similar to Hamtramck High School courses that the student used to take. But if kids are interested in something else, but it's also counted as a core science, then that's another option. Elective also the same. If we are giving them 2 to graduate, then they will be able to. Based on also how far you are in your graduation. If you are a junior or a senior, some of you maybe doesn't need elective. So yeah, we'll make sure that your schedule basically allow you to graduate. If you are a senior, for example, you might need only 3 classes or 4 classes. It depends on your schedule, what you need for graduation.
And then I think this is a great question to end on, but Dr. Brewer just answered it. So we had a family say they joined late and they asked if this will be recorded. This session was recorded. So if you joined late, you'll have the opportunity to go back and watch the recording.
There's a good question. A student is asking if the virtual classes that are completed through Pearson will count against them when they graduate. No, it will not.
You will take in your transcript, it will not say Pearson for any way. It's just a kind of a different delivery method platform. It's only Hamtramck transcript. It doesn't say any word about Pearson. I think, do we still have, okay.
No, I think we're good.
I think we are good, guys. I just need to remind you, if you are also have more question, we have 3 sessions tomorrow in person. If you are interested, you have another question, we will have also 3 sessions. The first one will be Koshko Middle School at 12 o'clock, and also Dickinson East Elementary at 2 p.m. and Hamtramck High School at 3:30. So if you are feeling like you still have a question and you would like to come to visit us, please do. Thank you so much for your participation and your engagement. And I would like to say to our team in Pearson, thank you so much for also our team as Hamtramck Public School staff, our superintendent. Thank you and have a good evening. Our parents, bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yes.
If I can say, tomorrow will be in person. It will
Yes,
not
I
be
did say.
virtual.
I did
Thank
say in
you.
person, yes.
Okay,
3
awesome. I
meetings
just
in
wanted
person.
to make sure. Well,
Yes.
thank you all. You're appreciated. You're in good hands. The team here is working diligently to make sure that we move with this process. But again, this does involve a lot of responsibilities to our students. So we want you to think, strongly about this before jumping into it. You will still be provided the services and supports like you've always received. We will still be available to, check it with you if you have any questions, if you have any concerns. You are still going to have access to the sports, the athletics, activity, all these various activities. If you are receiving, special services, you will receive that. If you are receiving English learner support, you will continue to receive that. So you will still continue to receive all of the supplementary supports. You will still continue to reserve the get the services as if you were in the buildings. But think closely. Yep, you can access the prom, homecoming, everything. You still are part of HPS. We are just providing flexibility where it is needed for some of our students. With that being said, I hope to see you all tomorrow. If you still have any further questions, I will count on Assistant Principal Mrs. Al-Fatlawi to work with the high school team, high school students, parents. If you have any further questions, our contact information is on our website. We are always ready and willing and able to serve you. So thank you for all you do. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, everybody. Take care.